in a couple of weeks, we are going to have a new president inaugurated. I understand everyone here, I believe, voted for the Biden-Harris ticket. Georgia has not flipped blue in 28 years, and Black women have largely been credited with helping make that happen. What are your top issues that you want to see this administration tackle in this upcoming year?
The pandemic caused such an unemployment in this country that is unreal, unheard of. The unemployment benefits need to be extended, because how are people putting food on their tables? I've never been in a food line before, but now I have been in 3 food lines. I am looking for those handouts to get me through. My health care ended for me in November. So now I've got to make choices on whether I'm going to pay for my medicine, which is medicine that's for my survival. I had heart surgery 4 years ago, so I need this medicine. Some affordable health care is very important.
Immigration is something that needs to be addressed immediately. We literally still have children that are in prison right now under no fault of their own, which is unacceptable and inhumane. Right here in this United States, we have a history of racism. We know that it's here. It's not an elephant in the room anymore, okay? We need to address that.
In the United States of America, Black women are dying at a disproportionate rate. There is a level of historic trauma in the Black community. And Black women have been the ones to nurse this country from the inception of the United States of America. And for Black women to be dying in America is a slap in the face. The fact that we had all of these murders of Black men by law enforcement and so on and so on is unacceptable.
All the issues that are important to us affect us, right? If you don't have health care, if you don't have rent protection, if you have too many student loans, like those all play a factor. There isn't really one issue to focus on because they're all affected by the same system that has been affecting marginalized people. Racial injustice is important to me. Medicare for all is important to me. But I don't think it's easy to just say there's one issue to focus on.
I was tearing up earlier. Could we really be at the precipice of a new administration that's going to actually make a change? That it's really going to happen this time? Because, like you say, Black women have been the backbone. We've always gone and voted. We've always marched. We've always boycotted when we needed to. We're the ones that are, the most supportive of it all. And it's like, when will we have our voices heard and be taken seriously?
I hope that under the Biden administration, we'll return to some sense of decency. We now know that we must hold all of our elected officials accountable. The country has had watchdog organizations and political action committees that have always kind of done some of that, but now the American people know that they must do it individually. We need to make sure that they carry out those policies. We also need to make sure of those that are creating obstacles and roadblocks and obstructing policies from going through.
How do you hold them accountable? How are you all going to hold a Biden-Harris administration accountable to do the things that they said they would do and address these issues that you all just talked about?
We will be on Capitol Hill.
Yes.
We'll be showing up. We will be showing out. Mm-hmm. We will be here. We're not going anywhere.
With Unite Here, it's 1,000 of us out here canvassing and knocking on doors. And so that's where we will hold the accountability, that we'll still be out there saying, we can get out there and we can knock on doors for you. Or if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, we can also come back out.
But we're going to hold the administration accountable just like we've always held people accountable. I think we may be just more visible this time.
And how important is it that the Democratic candidates win in these Senate races?
Literally life-changing for some people, for all people, actually. This is critical. What's going on right now in Georgia kind of reflects the shift that's happening nationally as well. People are tired of what's been going on. And I do think the pandemic really showed that for people. The pandemic truly cracked the cracks that were forming in our system. And I think people being at home and being exposed to everything is really causing a shift that I think many of us have been waiting for. And it has been truly relieving to see that there's still a chance for us to make change. We said we wanted our voice heard, and it happened. I think that's been truly like a special moment of realization.
In Florida, senior citizens who were supposed to be among the first in line for the COVID vaccine are now waiting hours to get their shots, some of them camping out overnight only to be turned away. More than 1.2 million doses of the vaccine has made its way to Florida since December 14th. That's according to the CDC. But as of Sunday morning, the state had only vaccinated 255,000 people. NBC News correspondent Carrie Sanders is joining me now from Miramar, Florida. Carrie, Florida was one of the first states to greenlight vaccinations for its senior citizens. Governor DeSantis breaking with CDC protocol, prioritizing seniors over essential workers. But now his distribution plan is getting a lot of the blame for all of these rollout delays. What is going on there?
Well, I think at the end of the day, you use the word plan, and it appears that there was no real set plan in the state of Florida. You know, the Florida Department of Health is responsible for getting these vaccines to folks who are 65 and older. 67 counties. Each county seems to have its own version of how to do it. In Broward County, which is where I am right now, they've decided to give people appointments. But it didn't start out that way. Over in Lee County, they just had first come, first serve. Today in Volusia County, that's Daytona Beach, it is a case of first come, first serve. So 1,000 people showed up, far more than they had actual vaccines to give. So there's definitely some problems here. I will point out that some of the reason they're doing first come, first serve rather than making appointments is they fear that if everybody has an appointment, then people don't show up for their appointments, and then that causes a backlog, which makes it harder to get people vaccinated. So there's two sides, no clear answer other than to say what is happening is frustrating seniors who are discovering. And remember, in this state, 21 million people, but 1 in 5 is 65 or older. They're frustrated that they can't get this to work as easily as, say, ordering a pizza, which they say, hey, if I can get on my app and order a pizza, why can't I get on an app, which keeps crashing, get on the app and make my appointment and go get my shot? At the end of the day, getting the shot takes 6 seconds. You sit for 15 minutes afterwards to make sure that there's no ill effect, and then you go on and you come back either 21 days if it's Pfizer or 30 days later if it's Moderna. So the criticism is out there. The people are frustrated. And Allison, they're waiting right now to figure out, is this system going to evolve? The governor suggests it is.
Yeah, what else is the governor saying about what's going on there, Carrie?
Well, the governor is suggesting that the evolution will include things like using houses of worship so people can get vaccinated rather than strictly doing it where they're doing it right now. Where they're doing it right now is they're transitioning from those sites where people were getting tested to now where they're getting the vaccinated. And so, for instance, in Escambia County, they decided to run a test here at a house of worship. And at that church, they had 500 seniors come in, gave them the shots. That worked fine. The governor is also saying that he's going to activate 1,000 nurses that are inactive right now to help get this system moving. Let's listen to a little bit more what the governor had to say.
I think that it's the new year. Everyone's now back. You know, Christmas, New Year's is just, it is what it is. The hospitals are not fully staffed like they would want to be. I mean, that's just the nature of it. And I think you're going to see those numbers, not just in Florida, but nationwide, really jump. But I think it's important to point out Florida's approach, I think, is the better approach. If you have a 73-year-old parent, 73-year-old grandparent, in the vast majority of states in this country, they are simply not eligible to be vaccinated.
So the governor promising those seniors in the state and eventually to everybody who wants to get the vaccine that the system will work. The one place that you're not really seeing a lot of visuals are inside those long-term care facilities. That was handed over to CVS and Walgreens. And as best we understand, the vaccination efforts inside those facilities where there are very few cameras because of privacy and the concern for the elderly residents there that are frail, that seems to be working. It's really those that are more out and about, 65 plus, who are trying to take advantage of getting what they've been promised but then somehow don't seem to be able to get, Allison.
Carrie, let's talk about where you are. Memorial Healthcare System, where frontline healthcare workers are starting to get their second Pfizer shots. How's that going?
It's going remarkably well here. The Memorial Healthcare System in Broward County gave those Pfizer shots 21 days ago, and now they're calling back the frontline workers to get their second shots. They're showing up here as required to get them, and they're a little concerned that they're beginning to hear across the country, such as in Riverside, California, where close to half of the healthcare workers have decided not to get coronavirus shots out of fear or something else. The healthcare workers here that I've spoken to say, look, we've had a few people here tell us the same thing, but we believe by demonstration, by actually doing this and showing it on camera, it's signaling the rest of the public that when it comes to their turn, they too should get the shot. Listen to what one of the healthcare workers who we spoke to, by the way, she was the first one to get a Pfizer shot here 21 days ago, and now here she is getting her second one.
I felt that this was the best way to start my new year. I got my second dose. I feel that this is going to put me on the road to help our healthcare providers fight this pandemic. We have seen a lot of grimness in the last few months, and this really is giving us hope.
And I think that's what everybody's hoping for, Allison, a little bit of hope. It has been a very long pandemic, and it isn't over.